Everybody, welcome to the training camp wrap-up show presented by UPMC Health Plan. I am Missi Matthews, joined today by Craig Wolfley. Coach Tomlin wrapping up practice with his Zoom call. A little technical difficulties on everyone's side today. He did start his press conference talking about the loss of John Thompson. We will get to that in just a little bit. I do want to go through the list of injuries, kind of the count of everything that he said. The big one was Dave DeCastro was not out there today. Coach Tomlin said he is dealing with a lower body injury. Wolf said he is managing it. The team is managing it, hoping to see him back out on the practice field soon. The Steelers are off tomorrow. Some other guys that he listed here, Ryan Switzer, Chris Wormley, Wendell Smallwood, also Deontay Johnson and Terrell Edmonds. They are considered the group working themselves back into practice to be full participants. So a number of injuries as we're winding things down, but Dave DeCastro, at least to me, is the big one where you want to see him out here.
No question about it. You love Big Dave out on the field doing what he does best, and that's palpitating heartbeats and people. The thing about him is he's one of those great pros. He knows what it's going to take to be ready for week one, so he's going to make sure he's there and able to do it. But, it's a little bit, it would be more consoling to see him out there and doing battle with the large prairie mammals.
Absolutely. So that is something that we will continue to monitor. But as I said, Coach Tomlin first started his press conference about the loss of John Thompson, was further asked questions about it, said, I have been a fan of his forever growing up in Virginia, even said he had a Georgetown starter jacket, which if that doesn't bring you back a starter jacket, that sure does.
No question about it. John Thompson was a legend. I remember watching him when, latter part at Syracuse University, always watching the Georgetown,
good old Big
Syracuse.
East.
Yes, that was Big East Conference. It was Big East basketball, and it was just huge. And John Thompson was also a man that everybody greatly respected. His opinion, his words that he had to say, the way he nurtured his players and brought them up as young men. Had a lot of good stuff to say. I've heard so much about him. I've not had the opportunity or had the privilege of meeting him in person, but obviously a guy like Mike Tomlin reaching out, that's a good man to get some sustenance from when you're becoming moving up the ranks in coaching, because he certainly is a man of great character.
Coach Tomlin called him a blueprint and an idol and was asked, did you seek him out? Coach Tomlin grinned, laughed, and smiled all at the same time and said, absolutely.
Yes.
Said he would actually call into Coach Thompson's radio show just to start and seek him out. And he did eventually become a mentor and said anytime they played down in Washington or Baltimore, he would try to seek him out, get that one-on-one time, whether it was on the phone or not. That was somebody that really made an impact on him.
No question about it. You got your go-to guys. There's certain guys that in your profession that have really raised the bar and give great advice. And John Thompson, I would imagine, would be a guy that Mike Tomlin greatly respected, obviously, as so many people did. But certainly that's one of those guys in the conversation when you got your three go-to guys. Who's one of them? He's got to be in there somewhere for Coach Tomlin.
All right, Coach Tomlin Wolf also said dealing with some situational football today. We are getting closer and closer, just 2 weeks away from that Monday night game, week 1 against the New York Giants. So what do you think is important for the Steelers to wrap up here at Heinz Field as the days of training camp are getting lower and lower and lower?
It's finishing with a bang, literally. I think it's the physicality that we just witnessed. The goal line scrimmage really sets a nice tenor. You got to get down there, you got to grab grass, you got to come off low, you got to have a little bit of angst in you to get into that goal line, get into that end zone, And I think they accomplished what they wanted. They got some good hits out there. They've gotten some good live stuff. I thought Deontay Johnson, by the way, and some of the other things besides goal line, showed up very nice. So there's a number of guys that are coming along, but let's face it, you've got a small window left to make that impression, and these guys better use it to the max.
What do you think players are thinking at this point, knowing it's just a few days left of training camp?
So many of them are sitting there and thinking, I count one, don't count. No, but there's 3. No, don't count. That's what you got to do, because you don't want to get your dauber down. You don't want to release the intensity that's built up over the weeks. You got to maintain and keep your focus on finishing hard, finishing strong, because your video is eventually going to land somewhere. And so you always think about, I'm not just practicing here for the Steelers, but I'm also auditioning for 31 other teams just in the event that things don't swing my way. But everybody's thinking about the cut-down date coming up and the lack of high premium reps in preseason games to show what they can do.
All right, and just quickly to recap, Dave DeCastro not at practice today. He is dealing with a lower body injury. Guys, Coach Tomlin said is working their way back to being full participants. Ryan Switzer, Chris Wormley, Wendell Smallwood, Deontay Johnson, and Terrell Edmonds. So, well, thanks for joining me today. As always, greatly appreciate it. That is going to do it for our training camp wrap-up show presented by the UPMC Health Plan. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see everybody back here on Wednesday.